Okay, now that we've got our lap times put into our tables, we can finish off these tables now. So the distance of each marker was 1 meter, so we went 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter, 4 meter, 5 meter, 6 meter, 7 meter, 8 meter, 9 meter, finally 10 meters all up. Now the displacement was slightly different because we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meters, and then we turned around. Remembering that displacement is our distance from the origin, it then goes 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And because we did the same journey for each of our walk types, we can just copy paste that data into each table. Okay, excellent. Now we can start putting this into a graph. So I'm going to select the time and distance and do a distance time graph. So we go to insert. Now I appreciate that if you're on a PC, this looks slightly different to my Mac version here, but the steps should be pretty similar. So I'm going to select scatter graph, one with the little dots on it, and it's going to look like this. Now that's it's okay, but we need to fix it up a little bit so it's a little bit more easy for us to use. Now, first thing we want is we want to put a line through this set of dots. So we're going to click on one of the dots. If we right click, if we hit format data series, a little formatting pane should pop up on the side here. Here it is. So I'm going to click on the little paint bucket, and it's already selected the line, and I want a solid line. Second thing I want to quickly fix is the markers. Marker option, I want to change that to not be a little circle thing, I want a little X. I think that's going to be a little bit easier to see. I'm going to make it a little bit larger too. Okay, so now that I've done that, I've got a nice little distance time graph there. It obviously doesn't have axes label headings, which we'll fix up later. First thing I want to do now is add our second and third run here. So to do this now, it's a little bit tricky and a little bit more complicated, but it's still straightforward if we just follow these steps. So we're going to go select data. Now this series here is the one we've already got displayed on our graph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name that. I'm going to name that as walking. Then I'm going to press this little plus button, which means I want to add some more data, another set of data here. So it's series 2. I'm going to call this backwards. I'm going to collect my X values here by clicking on this little rectangle there. So my X values are the time. I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to take me back to this window. I'm going to go for my Y values, which are these guys here. Enter. Alrighty. I'm now going to add my third one by clicking the plus button again, and this one is going to be named heel to toe. My X values are the time. Enter. My Y values are the distance. Enter. Now that all looks good to go, hit OK, and I should get, if I'm lucky, 3 separate lines on my graph here. There they are. So those are my 3 different runs that I did of my course, and they're plotted on the same distance time graph. Now, what I do want to do though is fix up a little bit of this formatting. So I'm going to increase the size a little bit, and I need a little bit of room around the edges. So I can fit my axes in, a couple of other little things. Okay, so first thing I need to do is go to chart design up the top here, and I'm going to add some elements. I'm going to add a axis title, the primary horizontal. That is our time in seconds. Very nice. We can change the size of that just by going to home and changing the size. I'm not going to worry about that for now. I'm going to add our vertical. That is distance in meters. Okay, finally, what I want to fix now is, we can change this as well. Distance time graph, very simple title. I need to add a legend. I'm going to put it over here on the right. And there it shows me which one of these lines are which. The walking, the backwards, and the heel to toe. And it says that nice and straight, like really clearly, because I labeled those series. So the computer knows which ones are which. Now, last thing I do want to fix is the scale on my axes, because if I wanted to find out what those little points were, it's not quite clear. You can see the times going up in 5 seconds, which I'm quite unhappy with. So if I click that axis, I should be able to format it now over here. So I'm going to go over to this guy here, axes options. Okay. I've got minimums and maximum values, which I'm going to leave. It's my major units that I want to fix. I'm going to change that probably closer to 1 maybe. No, that'll be too crowded. I'm going to go with 2. 2's better. Now I want to do the same on this one. I'm going to change this one to definitely to 1 though. There we go. So now you can see my little vertical and horizontal lines are going up in the increments that I've specified. And it's now a lot easier for me to read. So I can say what is the distance at 10 seconds. I can scroll up and I can say it's approximately 2.5 meters. So that is your distance time graph. Like I said, you can change a whole lot of things now. You can change the color of these lines, you can change the dots on the points. I'd definitely be changing the size of this font, because that's doing my head in. It's way too small. So that's for the distance time graph. What you now need to do is follow the exact same steps pretty much. I might just start you off on the displacement time graph, because it is a slightly different step. So I'm going to move this guy up a little bit, and we're going to just click off the chart and we're going to start a new scatter graph. So I'm going to go insert. Essentially what we're doing is we're going to do the exact same thing but for displacement now. Now previously we selected the data first, then hit graph. This time I'm doing it the other way around, and the reason is it's a bit harder for me to select 2 columns that aren't next to each other. So now I'm just going to right click it and select my data the way we've been doing it for the other ones. So select data. Okay, so I'm going to add a series because it hasn't got any series. This one is walking. My X values are time. My Y values are over here in the displacement column. Enter. Okay, so I've just done it for walking now, and you can see there it is. It's best to do this one first before you add the other 2. And the reason is, if I'm adding a line now, solid line, all my consecutive ones that I do will then have lines. I'm obviously not going to keep that as walking. That will be displacement time graph. Okay, so your job now is to complete both graphs for your sets of data, a distance and displacement graph. Your displacement graph will have 3 lines on it, unlike my single line. Okay, once you've got your graphs completed, there's just a couple more little finishing touches we want to do to them before we take our final screenshot and submit. So they should look something similar to this. We're just going to zoom out on these a little bit by using this little scroll bar down the bottom. Probably about 80% is fine, because I want to leave a bit of room here for the selfie that I took whilst I was doing my prac. And it's a terrible selfie, but I'm sure you can model with a thumbs up or something a lot better than that. There we go. Now that is ready, I just need to do my screenshot of that. One big screenshot, boom, and that screenshot is now ready to be uploaded to Canvas for my weekly submission. All right, good luck, gents.